Thoughts and Friends podcast, Bachelorette edition. The crew is back, and you're getting instant reaction crew tonight. The first two episodes we recorded the next day. Right now it is 9:30 Central Time, so the show has just ended. You're getting instant reactions. I want to get Bobbie's thoughts on the episode first. Bro, do you have any questions you want to pose to her, or how do you want to start it out?
No, what did you think of this episode, Bobbie? Me and Wes, I think, have strong opinions on the episode tonight. So I would like your take as a Bachelorette veteran.
The episode was a little bit boring tonight. But I still think that Nate is standing out. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to talk about him before people get sick of it, but it was just kind of boring, I thought, but it was okay. I mean, we saw some good personalities and we saw some bad ones, but overall, I thought Michelle looked amazing all episode. Like, every outfit was hitting. Do we agree with that?
She looked quite beautiful.
No doubt. There's been no times where I'm like, that didn't work.
Yeah,
since we've started.
Right.
So
you guys were kind of hating on her before, like not thinking that she was the most attractive.
I don't know if I'd go that far. Yeah, maybe not the most, but I think she looks great. Yeah, she looks.
If you're on the show, you can't not be attractive.
Yeah,
it's just
right.
No complaints. What we need to know from you, outside of the specifics of this show, is as a whole so far, like these first three episodes, I guess, where does it rank for your enjoyment level compared to other seasons? Where does it stack up as far as, I guess, just enjoyment, or
is this an average
characters
season,
and
bad
drama?
season?
How do you think it's
good
going
season?
so far?
I personally feel like her season's been pretty good so far. So I have officially made it farther with Michelle's season than I did with Katie's. I kind of dropped off with Katie's pretty easily. I really didn't like Katie. So I think Michelle's a really good Bachelorette. I think that she has some really good guys, but it's so obvious who's doing really well right now. But we'll still see some guys that kind of come out of the woodwork.
To me, as a first-time watcher, this episode especially has felt super, super, super produced. Like,
yeah, it did.
Incredibly fake.
Yeah, I like that you said right away that it felt like a boring episode, because it felt like they just didn't have 2 hours of content this time.
They were padding time. They said the same thing a million times.
Yeah, going to that, like, we'll talk more. Obviously, if you're watching this or listening to this podcast, you most likely watched the episode. But if you haven't, we'll get into more of the drama at the end. But it deals with Jamie, and they just say the same thing over and over. Like,
the amount of times someone said, I can't believe that he made Michelle mistrust us. He's messing up all of our chance.
You're telling me he made this all up?
I mean, I imagine every single person on the show had to sit down and said that to the camera.
It felt like we were being treated like toddlers, basically. Like, it was just being spoon-fed. So,
hey, dummies, this guy's a bad guy. Make sure you realize it. He's bad. We're going to put him in a black suit because he's a bad guy. You get it?
This will count for later. Yeah, I agree. I felt like it was a little bit much, but I think that they were just grasping at straws, and that could be because I don't know. I just think Michelle's really normal, so maybe she's just having like really genuine connections with these people, and they're just kind of grasping at straws, trying to think like, how can we make this interesting to watch?
Yeah, I think it just like felt super jarring, the total flip from Jamie to being like seemingly a normal person to this being like a villain from a movie, basically.
Yeah, we were joking like they should make him wear an eye patch. Like, all of his talk to camera stuff, all of just everything is. It seems like they're writing this stuff.
Yeah,
like it's not things people say.
No,
like,
every time he could speak, he was like, "I'm the shit. This is easy. There is no chance." He basically did the exact same thing Ryan did, pretty much. They basically, him and Ryan could have been reading the exact same lines. Basically, it felt not authentic.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like they're just trying to like rev a few things up because things aren't super interesting right now because there's not enough time for the connections to be super strong and like have drama with that quite yet.
True.
Overall, I thought it was an okay episode. Was it highly produced? Absolutely, but that's kind of the nature of the beast.
Yeah.
All right.
It wasn't. They did not have 2 hours worth of show this week.
No, they didn't. They should have done more dates or something. But
yeah, something. I was so sick of the Jamie angle.
We'll get to it at the end.
Couldn't get over soon. Let's go from the top. Give a breakdown of what happened.
We open with a very foreshadowing scene before we get to the card with all the group date names. It opens with Jamie. He's talking about, obviously we're coming off the drama of the last episode, and he's talking about he's not concerned. I think he's talking with Martin, maybe. He's just not concerned about the drama from the last episode. He feels like he's confident in his connection with Michelle.
I think he said, like, I would like to go on a group date because I would like to at least feel a little bit of competition or something like that.
Super like.
He's so weird.
He's a weird guy.
I think that personally, I think that the producers gave us Jamie as the first one-on-one because they knew that he could easily become the villain, but who cares about him as a villain unless we felt like betrayed by him? So they kind of built us up with that one-on-one and then, let us down hard because they needed that content. I mean, it worked, right? But Jamie is just so annoying.
Like, do we think that he genuinely thought to himself, I'm going to plant this story? Or do we think someone else is telling him to do that? Because I've not watched the show enough to like have a good read on that sort of thing. It seems to me like nobody who's actually trying to win the show and actually trying to fall in love with this girl would ever do that in a million years. But I could be wrong.
I honestly don't know. I mean, it's possible that he had a manager or something before the show that was like, just shake things up to get some attention and media attention. But I don't know. You guys are all about the strategy of it. And I'm more like, oh.
Yeah. The other thing that I think I forget about this is you have to be kind of a psychopath to even put yourself out there to be on this show. So these people are all crazy people.
So what I'm trying to think is like, okay, I truly think that if I were kind of like at the right place at the right time, like if I were single in my 20s, like why wouldn't I apply? You know what I mean? Like I would be down. I think it'd be super fun. But I think it's different for guys. I don't know why. Maybe that's a little bit sexist, but I'm like, why are these guys here? Like what makes them actually care about this? Because I don't think it's actually about finding like a woman. And then I was starting to think about like Joe. Like Joe seems so normal and he's quiet. Like, why is he here? What made him apply for the Bachelor or Bachelorette?
Yeah, a guy like that who is seemingly just a quiet person, why would he ever willingly want to be on the Bachelorette? Other than
a lot of people get nominated by someone else, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I nominated you.
Fun fact. Obviously never happened. If you nominated me and they called like, hey, you're in, I would say, I don't think so. It's not for me. Like,
but then, yeah, it's tough.
You say that, but
it'd be fun to do.
Yes.
And so be a great story.
You mentioned one of the times. Oh, when her and Nate went running off into the darkness. And then the next clip is them like under this tree, and you mentioned, oh wow, shocking, they got such great lighting under this tree here. It would be like, imagine, I was just imagining all of like the actual real nerves and like uneasiness of like first dates in our actual lives. And like imagine like big lighting rigs and like cameras in your face and a crew around. Like imagine doing that. Like I just can't imagine that is something that you would want to do and like would be a good environment to foster a connection with a woman.
Is there interaction between her and these guys, like other than what we're seeing on camera? Like, is there any other time where they're talking to each other? Because that would
Yeah,
make this a little bit more sense.
Yeah, because like think these dates are like 10 hours long, and we're seeing, just such small portions. So there have been past bachelorettes specifically that have like spoken out and said like they didn't show any of our genuine connections, or we would pass notes to each other when production wasn't rolling so that no one could see, and like things like that. So there's definitely stuff going on that we don't see.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes more sense. That's another thing to like people like me and Wes need to remember, that it's like, obviously this is not, they're not with each other for 2 hours a day, and this is not it. And obviously these things they're saying are for camera, but there is other genuine interaction going on that is less.
I just know it's a different show, but I just know there's pictures of the Survivor set on the other side of the camera where you just see just massive camera rigs and just a crew of like 50 people behind the camera. And that's what you have to imagine that they're looking at when they're like having these deep, intimate moments and like supposed to be believable. It's just so tough.
Could you imagine making out with someone in front of that many cameras and like all the lights?
Oh, what are we doing?
That's
crazy to me.
I'd freak out.
I don't think I could do it. But would I try? Maybe.
You'd give it a go.
I don't know. I think it'd be a really fun experience.
Yeah, my ego would not let me not try. I'd be like, I'm hot.
I want to watch
the same. Like, you're sexy as hell if they pick you.
True, right?
You're hot as fuck. That'd feel pretty good for my ego.
Yeah, it's
right.
True. All right, we can get into some specifics of the episode. The first group date. They send in the card, and Martin, LT, Olu, Spencer, Clayton, Nate, Joe, Rick, and of course Will and Peter. Can't have a group date without those two. They head off to like an airfield, like a Air Force base. Yeah, I don't know, of some sort of airfield.
There's planes.
Yeah, there's planes, and they do this whole. I assume that it has to be like a sponsored segment.
Right.
Like just do the new movie, the promo. They have actors from the new Top Gun show up.
Definitely sponsored.
I said that, and it's like, this would be funny if this is just sponsored by Top Gun, and then literally the actors came out.
Yeah.
It
was a moment. I loved the outfits that the guys were wearing. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Of course you did.
What is that?
And
what?
I thought that like the challenge.
Yeah, like Top Gun's like the pilot, like whatever. That's like a thing, right?
Yeah.
I think.
I don't know. It just feels like,
or maybe it's just a Tom Cruise thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot like if you're Nate, you wear anything, you look hot shit.
Yeah, that's a good point. But make it work. What'd you think of the whole airfield and that?
I thought that like the challenge was kind of stupid, but
oh boy! Before we go any further, talk about my worst nightmare. So they get strapped into this G-force simulator thing, and they're spinning around and being flipped upside down,
and they're like, talk about your feelings while you do this.
Yeah, like while you're doing it, we want you to express your feelings for Michelle. I was like, I'm about to express my lunch onto the ground right now. Like, I
literally
incredibly motion sickness. It would literally my worst nightmare.
What would you even say? Like, I feel like a lot of these guys haven't even interacted with her. Like, I'm so excited to actually get to talk to you. Thanks for keeping me.
Yeah.
Do you think that the people that are on the show and are like actually trying to fall in love are like, this is such a waste of time to do like these things, like do us like fighting each other, and that like, is Michelle gaining anything at all about these people from that sort of thing? Like, I guess this one specifically. So like if I'm her and I see guys like fighting with big things, I'm like, this is telling me absolutely
to explain what you're talking about. After they do this simulator thing where they're spinning around, they go over and they get these like, I don't know what to call them. They have these not like weapons, like kind of
American Gladiator sort of big puffy, like sticks,
padded, like they're
just beating the hell out of each other, trying to knock each other off the platform.
And they match up with with each other, and they try to like knock each other off this platform while everybody watches. And yeah, I don't know what she gains out of that. I guess.
So
Peter's a giant pussy, I guess.
I personally think, like, yes, when you strip it down to what they're truly doing, beating each other up, like, no, she doesn't gain anything from that. But seeing that interaction between the guys is going to be very much so like how you're seeing their social skills.
Yeah, and like how they react.
Yeah, you don't want the guy that's like way too competitive.
Right.
Yeah, or
like
is a huge bitch and like is a sore loser and
Peter.
Right.
Yeah, Peter.
Right. Peter.
Looking at you.
Yeah. So kind of going into that a little bit more, like obviously that's super produced with the whole Will and Peter thing.
They were matched up with each other.
Like neither one of them honestly have a shot with Michelle long term, and this is truly just for content. But I wish they could fill the episode with more meaningful content, because I don't care to watch the drama. Like I want to see more like conversations and fun things. So that's a little bit annoying.
So my thing, I think how I felt was they need to go one way or the other. It either needs to be batshit fucking crazy and like out of this world, or be more serious. They're in this weird middle ground
really
right now.
Uncomfortable middle ground.
It's like
odd. Like we're taking it real seriously, but it's like
we're super early.
But we're also doing
That's
like
true.
soap opera drama bullshit.
They need
that's
this.
like so obviously.
It is early. She said it's
fake.
early. We need this stuff because if there is anything real connection, whatever you want to call it, it's just not there yet. So it needs to be time needs to be filled, and other things need to be filled. Anyway, Will and Peter end up matching up at the end. They're the rivalry. They face off, and Will just dummies him off of this thing like 4 times in a row, just owns him, and he's all butthurt about it. And in the end,
It looked like he was trying.
He just got killed. Like
trucked.
I laughed out loud whenever he gets right on and he knocks him off. He's like, dude, you're not even letting me get on, dude. What the fuck?
He knocks him off like 4 times in a row. He's like, dude, let me get on.
Let me get home first. The heck?
Yeah.
And then so Will wins the date rose from that that group date, and he wins like a jacket.
Yeah,
that wins like a fighter pilot jacket that will come into play.
Which is kind of cool, right? I mean, like Top Gun.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. He gets this jacket, and then they go to the mini cocktail hour. So she talks to pretty much everyone.
She is macking.
Dude, she
I have this written down.
Loves a makeout.
She's got to get sick of making out with people.
Right?
I mean, she's got to be exhausted.
Girl, does y'all throw her? I know you throw her.
I mean, how are these people got to be getting sick?
Everyone's got a cold.
Like, her lip gloss budget has got to be through the fucking roof.
Crazy.
Her lips got to be.
Everyone's getting antibiotic.
I have everyone's one-on-one time at the bottom of every single one of them. Made out.
I saw a tongue. It wasn't just like
it was weird in there, real deep.
We're playing tonsil hockey.
No doubt. But the first one they show in this cocktail hour one-on-one time is time with Clayton. And she said that he's becoming more relaxed, and she's starting to see more of his personality. I'm certainly
Where's it at?
I'm not seeing
I'm
it.
not.
This guy is a stick in the mud.
I don't understand why he's the next Bachelor.
You're trying to tell me he's like a giant Hercules-looking football player guy.
Handsome and he's semi-well-spoken, but he's so goddamn boring.
You're telling me this is the guy that they're going to have to market as the new Bachelor? This guy stinks.
He's got big muscles.
There's got to be a good catch about him. He's got to be like, oh, I'm bisexual or something. Like, we've got to get...
That would be fucking awesome.
Have they done that? Half girls?
No!
That would be fucking...
The first bisexual Bachelorette was just announced, and she's in Australia. So it's going to be like mass chaos in the house with everyone.
Oh, that's fucking awesome.
Let's talk about that.
So in.
Stay
I know.
tuned.
I don't know how we can watch Bachelorette Australia, but I think it would be wild.
I need to find a way.
God, that sounds incredible. Anyways, he's a huge bump on a log. He stinks.
Yeah.
Don't
So
get it.
boring.
I think we had him pegged from the preview show. I mean, you just tell by his look, tell by his bio. He's just as vanilla white bread as it gets.
Just a handsome big jack dude that just
So boring.
white bread as you could be. Then she talked to Nate. He did typical Nate things. I don't know. They made out. Anything.
At this point, Nate's one of the favorites to win the whole thing.
Yeah,
what more can we really say about Nate?
Nate did say he's quote catching feelings.
He's
how about
hot
that?
as fuck. I mean, what do you want to do?
I am fucking obsessed with Nate, and I know I've said it a lot, but the fact that Nate wasn't picked to be the next Bachelor is saying something.
You think he might win?
I think he might win because I don't think Joe would be the Bachelor if he didn't win because he's too quiet. He would never be a Bachelor.
That's a good point.
And I'm just like,
it's a great point. He would be, I just said, a marketable guy. How Clayton's not. He would be as marketable as it gets. Yeah.
Oh, like there would be no competition. I mean, it would be like there's not one person that would be casting for the Bachelor that wouldn't want to date Nate. In
a group of just exclusively very handsome men, he stands out. Like he pops when he's on screen. The guy's like,
yeah. Through 3 episodes, he has to be the biggest winner, regardless of the outcome of the show. I mean, he's for sure.
It's his time to shine next episode too. In the preview, I saw him getting in someone's face, and I was enjoying that.
We'll talk about it later when we get to the drama at the end.
I have a beef with what we got revealed at the.
He was kind of leading. He was leading the charge, kind of in the
Jamie situation.
Pitchfork crew against Jamie. So he was in some beef there too.
So let's move on to the one-on-one then, right? With Rodney.
Before we do Rodney, I want to talk about before we go to the one-on-one, we got to talk about the jacket.
Oh,
that shit was so fucking dumb.
So Will and Peter have this through 3 episodes, a huge beef with each other. Will owns Peter in this fucking arm wrestling, basically in the end competition, dick measuring contest, and he gets this jacket, and he has it like on his lap here at this cocktail hour. And when he leaves to go have his time, Peter takes it and throws it in the pool.
Correct.
Yeah.
And when he finds out, when Will finds out about it, this dude cries.
When he started crying, I had a girl, my friend Lindsay was over watching with me, and we were like, is he crying?
Yeah,
he said the same thing. Early on, he was like, is he crying? I was like, no, I just think that's how he sounds.
No, he had like a quiver in his voice. I'm like, are you fucking crying over this jacket that is just a jacket that means nothing really? He's like, it's a symbol of
it's still
a symbol. That's like, you're not going to wear it.
It's just wet now.
It's like, I won. I got you, bitch.
It was so stupid when he was crying, and then they cut to him trying to dig his jacket out of the pool, and it was so pathetic.
Oh, it was so good.
I was like, what is happening?
Oh my God.
So obviously we talked, this whole Will and Peter thing is totally made by the producers kind of, and like played up because neither of these guys are going to win. But of all the scenarios they could have wrote to move this conflict forward, this was about as lame as it could have been.
I got it. So before he throws it in there, they get in like a verbal spat.
Oh,
Peter is the worst shit talker in the history of the world. At one point, he says, and I quote, he says something about,
so Will
better
says
watch your mouth or something. And Peter comes back with, you wish you had my mouth. What does that? And he, the crit. I change lives one slice at a time.
Oh.
You wish you had my mouth.
You wish you had my mouth.
Dude,
what?
Excuse me? Come again?
It's so
my thought was like, fucking just kiss him already.
Dude, make out already. What do you want?
Oh, the real couple is Peter and Will. They deserve each other. That's love.
Hey,
that basically
keep your enemies closer. That was so funny though. When he was crying, everyone was like, but great way to end the night. I'm
Dude,
so happy they didn't mention it to Michelle and that didn't consume her energy, though. That was awesome
Yeah.
on Will's.
That feels very. She, like, to this day might still not know about that. This feels like something we could spend 15 minutes on in the show. Like they just produced it, and
it doesn't matter because both these guys are going to lose. And
yeah,
it's
they're
just
meaningless
fodder
early
for
in
us
the
to
season.
talk about right
It's
now.
just episode fodder. She still might not know about that until
Right.
she just watched it tonight. We can move on though. Our guy, one of our guys, we seem to like Rodney. Gets his one-on-one.
Okay, I was not shocked. I called it. I freaking knew he was going to get the one-on-one when he wasn't on the group date. So I am excited that he got the one-on-one because I felt like she was going into it. I didn't know if Rodney was coming back. I thought she was going to friend zone him, possibly. So
100%.
he made it through. They did like, the fun little truth or dare thing. She was like, come to my room, which was interesting. I will say, during the truth or dare thing, he was super nice. The first thing I'm grabbing is a banana. You're blindfolded and I'm supposed to be feeding you something. I'm banana.
We also commented that food looked like it had been there for like 4 hours.
Yeah.
It looked disgusting.
Didn't look very
It looked
fresh.
really bad. It looked so bad.
I did want to bring up, before they started showing footage of the date and that truth or dare stuff, they definitely played up the fact. So it seems pretty obvious that the rest of the guys there don't view Rodney as a threat, I would say. That seems pretty clear.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what it is. He's
too kind.
He's
and
like
nice
cuddly.
And I tweeted, I said, stop bullying Rodney. I fucking love Rodney.
So they very clearly,
He's very
in a house full of extremely attractive, in shape men, they don't feel him as a threat in that way. They feel like
well, I mean, you got to also think of specifically Jamie that was basically saying that, who is
so
generally
it was
just a total ass.
Malik.
Oh yeah,
He said that too.
He did also. You're right.
Who's like, this would be pretty out of character. We haven't really seen.
We know
from
nothing
him
about
at all.
Malik,
He goes home
basically.
anyway, so spoiler.
Oh yeah.
So, and he said that he's never been the tallest or the best looking in the room, but he always brings a smile and a positive attitude. So they really played that up. And even Michelle says the words friend zone at one point. Like even she is like playing into this. Like she put him there immediately too.
Yeah. I felt like Rodney was super cute. At the beginning of the date, I was like, why is this guy even kind of on a date? Like, yes, he's nice, but realistically, how is it going to play out? And then I saw him on the actual date, and he's so sweet. He has the best smile. She seemed to be really enjoying his company. So I think that, I don't know. I think he could be top 6 pretty easily in my prediction.
I think he'll be around for a while. I don't know. I don't see the people who I would view as behind him right now. I don't see what they could do to overtake him really at this point. Seems like there's still a lot of people left that are kind of zeros.
Yeah.
Like they've not been around.
Oh,
tonight, folks.
You hear that in the background to your musical stylings of Bruce the dog on the hardwood floor there. Thanks for jumping, Bruce.
He has a lot to say about Rodney.
Towards the end of the date, they did this. Yeah, they got this. I don't know how it came up, but it says one of you has to run around the lobby naked.
Truth or dare.
Oh yeah, one of you run around the lobby naked, and the other has to yell from a megaphone. And we're like, wonder which one's going to do which one. I wonder. So Rodney strips down to his birthday suit and takes off running.
And his dick's rubbing all over that pillow. Like, why?
Yeah, we're gonna throw that pillow out.
This felt like they ran out of money for the dates? They were just like in the kitchen of the hotel, basically, and like around the lobby.
It's because of COVID.
But I mean, they like went for a hike in one. They went to the airfield place. Just feels like let's just get a cardboard box full of balloons, I guess. Anyone else got any ideas?
You would think for like the main date of the episode, they would have spent a little more money on that or spent a little something on it. I don't know.
I think they're doing my boy Rodney dirty, and I don't like it.
Yeah, I also said been this weird speculation between even us. I guess it's just us on this show. Like they did Rodney dirty in the picture. Like, is this guy kind of chubby?
I don't like
He's
it.
not. He's not chubby. Well, we saw.
He's
we
not
his photo,
chubby.
basically.
He's not chubby.
He's in decent shape. He does have what it is. He has a gigantic head.
Huge.
Yeah.
He has a
head.
gigantic head and huge ears.
And in that promo picture, he's wearing the baggiest shirt.
Right,
I've ever
and
seen.
it's always like, God, is this guy fat? Is this guy just wearing baggy clothes?
They're
He's-
making a joke out of him, and
For
I
the
don't.
record,
I
if
don't
he
appreciate
were
it.
fat,
Huge head.
that would be okay.
Yeah.
Bruce, I'm sorry.
Anything else from their one-on-one date? I mean, they talked. I don't know if they said it. I mean, I don't know.
She
He said he
didn't. There wasn't like a ton of chemistry, but it got the job done.
Yeah.
I think Rodney's here to stay, though. I think we established that he's a real contender.
it still just feels friend zoney to me.
Did everyone sell or keep him last week? I can't remember.
I think we were buyers
I think I bought.
because I think
I
you
think-
keep making the point that there were so many people below him. It just feels
Yeah.
like he's going to be around for a while.
I won't be buying for too many more weeks, but as of now, I think I would probably still buy.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Anything else, Bobby, from their one-on-one date that you wanted to bring up?
Yeah. No, I think that was all the high notes. It was overall okay, just nothing too crazy.
Okay, so we go to the second group date, and she brings Jamie, Leroy, Chris G, Chris S, I think, Casey, Malik, Brandon, and Romeo, and they go to a poetry reading. What was
So they were
Yeah,
doing
it was
spoken word.
poetry.
spoken word poetry?
I think spoken
Yeah.
word's like technically different than poetry, though, right?
But we're not in on this joke. Why do they keep bringing in people and acting like they're super famous, and we have no clue who they are? Is that like a Bachelorette bit?
They've done that.
No idea. I was
Wait,
like,
wait.
I don't know who the fuck
There was
that
this
is.
dude reading poetry on the stage, and they acted like he was Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this guy? They act like it was a huge
They
deal.
also did it with the people from the Top Gun Mavericks.
Did
Like,
it for-
I've never heard of either of
who are
those
these
people
guys?
either.
They did
They did it in the first episode with the
with
band.
that woman
The girls
playing-
singing.
Yep.
You're like, I don't know who that is.
Is this a bit we're not in on? Who are these people?
I have no idea. I have no
It's
idea.
so weird. They keep doing it. I think it's kind of funny now,
Yeah,
Is-
I hope they just keep doing it.
bringing these bizarre people and act like they're really famous. I don't understand it. Anyway, they do a poetry reading, and they all are tasked with coming up with a poem, and they read it aloud to everyone there. I didn't think it was as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was okay.
Not enough cringe for me. I was hoping for some serious cringe.
What did you think of the poems
Didn't
and
get
everything?
much.
So I thought that it was honestly just kind of stupid. I don't think they showed enough to make it noteworthy. So then, who was it? Someone had a pretty good one. And I started off good, and they didn't go through the end of it, which I was super annoyed about. And then they gave all the time, of course, to Jamie to show this
Sure.
part. And he just wild card. He's like, I lost my book. It's like, you've been in the same fucking room for an hour. How did you lose your fucking book?
Yeah.
Pissed me off immediately. And then he just starts telling a story about a girl, not at all a story about himself.
They kept calling it
Yeah, he does
TED Talk.
a weird like Bible verse.
He does
type
this,
of,
like
a fable. I don't know.
He tells this weird story. He doesn't do a poem at all.
It's very uncomfortable.
It was very odd. Yeah, everyone kind of had this blank stare looking at him like,
It was
Fuck.
like someone said, like a cult leader
Yeah,
or
like,
someone at like one of those conferences that's like, this is why you're not successful.
yeah, it was
I'm Tony
Yeah.
Robbins.
Brutal.
You got to do this.
very awkward.
It was awful.
But other than that, yeah, they really didn't share a bunch of the poems. They kind of skipped around and just showed them kind of mouthing up on stage, but you couldn't hear what they were saying. Basically, they did Brandon's. I think this was okay.
Yeah.
His was much better than I anticipated.
Yeah, it was solid.
Brandon is annoying because he's Brandon, but at the end of the day, he's doing okay on the show.
He is. He's a contender. I didn't.
She seems to really like him.
Didn't think that would be the case. Yeah, I don't like it, but she seems to.
I don't get it, but it's all about Michelle, not about us. So
other than that, not much to say about the poetry and anything else on that.
Honestly, it's kind of a boring date. Like
very boring.
There wasn't a whole lot that happened on like the cocktail hour besides Jamie talking to a producer. That was interesting.
We need to talk about that.
So is that normal?
So before you answer that,
that's not normal.
I assumed, because you mentioned that don't they each have their own like individual producers? So I assume that was like his person.
Yeah, that was.
I'm glad that you brought that up before, so I knew that when I was watching. So I assume that was his producer. That doesn't happen. That's not normal.
No, that is not normal. I think that was wild. And then of course they like have Jamie's microphone on. Like you see that sometimes with the lead, but not nearly as much with the contestants. So he's like saying how he's so much above everyone, and I just think that that's so wild. Like he was just totally out of character or out of line. So he says like he just can't believe that he has to even compete with Brandon J because he's so much better than him, and that Michelle is on spring break mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have somewhat of a paraphrase too. It's like these guys aren't even on my level.
Yeah. Then we have Michelle tweeting live tonight, and she says, like, what can I say? I've always loved spring break or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Got him.
I guess I gotta not too deep in the weeds on all these contestants and their social stuff. I said, it makes sense that she would be tweeting. But yeah, he's talking like, this is your result of your nationwide search. This group of guys, this is my competition. Like you're talking down to everyone. This is the best you've got. Yeah, it seems like Michelle is on spring break mode at this point. If you thought your husband or your soulmate was in the room, should you be acting like that? Was what he said.
I feel like she's not acting badly at all.
No, I feel like
she's making out with everybody.
This is like the nature of the show.
I guess that's
some way you're like forced to have an emotional connection with multiple other people. Like that's literally what the show is.
Everyone a fair shot.
Yeah, I don't know.
I wonder too if that was normal or not.
It's
so bizarre.
That also seems so like forced in there, and like why was that? I don't know. It didn't feel like any human being would actually say those things.
Right.
He felt full movie character to me at that point.
Yeah.
Didn't feel real. Maybe he's just a complete fucking asshole though.
Yeah, it's possible. So after that cuts basically to the cocktail hour at the end of the show.
And of course, Michelle shows up, the dress, everything. She looks amazing. Immediately takes the heels off and is playful and like running around with Nate.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was trying to escape the cameras a little bit, and then they were like, no, come here. And be in this like perfect lighting, and so that you guys can make out there. But I felt like they were trying to escape a little.
For sure, yeah. They say they did a little countdown and like took off running to run away from the cameras to get some actual alone time.
Yeah, and the old tongue action.
All the time.
During the cocktail party, we see Michelle talking to Rick. Rick is so serious, and there's a lot of talk about how he's like the union leader. So like, a union in like a shop or something, that like Rick is the union leader, and he
is so dead serious.
He's very serious, and he has an underbite that I did not realize in the first episodes. He's kind of like this the whole time. But you know what? It works for him. He looks like he wears eyeliner because his lashes are so dark. Like he's very conventionally attractive. He's just very odd, but that's okay.
It's fine.
And then, of course, the rest of the night is just consumed with Jamie.
Yeah,
it was 20 minutes too much, Jamie.
Yeah, it was so much.
We get
At least it came to an end. So you brought up Rick. He has his alone time with her, and he brings up this drama that's been hanging over the house, basically.
Right.
And and she tells him that it was Jamie that asked about it,
Right.
about their relationship with Nate prior to the show. So Rick after that goes and tells most of the guys, and everyone was like, I never said shit. I don't know what this conversation that he keeps making up didn't happen, basically.
Right.
And it's all had been Jamie this entire time. So they finally realize that. And Nate, Rick, and Casey, right, confront him.
Yeah. Nate was like, I felt like Nate was the biggest.
Yeah, he was the most vocal, probably. And Casey was like the stern dad. There's like, yeah, like kind of backed him up a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
And oh man, Jamie was squirming on the hook. He was so bad at lying, and like
he tried to politicking, like not directly answering any of the questions.
He tried to snake his way out of it. It looked like my young self trying to lie to your parents or something. It's just they know.
So what we saw from his poem thing, where he's sort of given that like political shisty snake oil salesman sort of pitch, was super evident whenever he eventually gets called on all this bullshit and he has no answers for why he's doing what he's doing or what he's saying, because he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. I was so over it before it started. I was like, I am already sick of seeing Jamie. And then we're like just now starting in on this with the cocktail party. Of course, it's like so repetitive, but I'm happy she kind of like nipped it and was like, I'm going to walk you out. And then that was it. He didn't even get to go to the rose ceremony. So the rose ceremony was kind of anticlimactic, but that was fine with me because I was like, I'm just so happy he's gone.
Yeah. I'm glad that we didn't have to do another episode of it. It had been enough. And I'm happy that he has gone and we can move on past that. I did want to bring up when they were upstairs talking to him, those three, I thought it was very interesting. How often is the fourth wall broken? Because they're talking about like the viewer and the episode cut, and like up until now and everything I've seen, it is very contained and they're very like acting like in their own world and don't reference the outside world in quotes. And Jamie was referencing, how do you think this is going to look to the viewers, and what do you think the producers are going to want for this cut, and like talking about the episode and breaking the fourth wall. I have to assume that doesn't happen pretty much ever.
Yeah, that's very rare. I was shocked when he said that. I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? Like, why would you bring that up? Like, who cares?
Also, he was in straight up panic mode too. He was reeling. He had nowhere to go. And all those guys were like, dude, what are you talking about?
It's sort of like, I don't know if they planned this or if that's just what he said, but I mean, it's genius to make him look more like a villain, to have him bring up like, have him just actively say, I'm on the show.
This is a game
to be famous and to win.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I'm doing what I think viewers want. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I assumed that was not common at all, but I thought it was interesting.
Very interesting.
And it seemed very real because Nate's reaction is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
right. He's like,
what are you doing?
I do not care. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love Nate for that.
Yeah, Nate had a lot of moments, a lot of memeable faces.
I know.
He's like 4 or 5 in this episode alone.
We might see some of them.
Ooh, I'm sure we will.
Highlights.
So we go to the rose ceremony. I thought it was pretty standard, honestly. Everyone stuck around that you thought. Any surprises for you there?
No surprises. I am just so happy that LT also went home. Like, I'm so sick of seeing this man creeping over people's shoulders.
That dude
try blinking once.
Yeah. Guy is a reptile.
Yeah.
He's so scary.
Yeah, also, Peter went home. Thank God we don't have to do that anymore. He had no chance. He was so cringy. I couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah. One villain out.
And then
2, really. Jamie and Peter.
True.
Yeah,
2.
True. And then Spencer and Malik also went home.
Don't care about either of them.
No, we didn't
They
really.
had basically no characterization.
Yeah, Spencer, we didn't see a whole lot of. So
No.
Here's a question I have, and a reason that I didn't enjoy this episode as much. It feels like there hasn't been really any surprises or twists that I didn't see coming through the first 3 episodes. Is
okay,
that fine early, or because it feels like to me when I think of really, really good reality TV, I want something to happen that I wasn't expecting at all. I want something to get flipped, someone to turn on somebody that I don't see coming. So far through 3, I haven't seen that happen really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of the opposite. I don't like too many twists and turns. So sometimes they'll occasionally bring in like random ass people, which is definitely, like where you get your twists and turns, but who knows? I mean, once you start getting attached to people and people are going home that you really like, that's, I feel like, where you get like crazy,
I don't think it has to be like
It doesn't
out
have
of the blue. I think what he's referencing
like
is
people going home. Like I could basically predict who's going to go home every single week, and I could be pretty close to being right.
It feels like everything is being so spoon fed to us. Like
Yeah.
they couldn't have been more blatant about this heel turn for Jamie, and he ended up going home. Like this entire episode was about that for him, just as blatant as can be. And
Yeah.
with the rose ceremony, the people that they cut away to, like they'll give them a few seconds of screen time, like, oh wow, I could be going home any minute now.
And then they
I don't know if
immediately
and then immediately get a rose. Like it feels like it's just too cut and dry. It feels like it's spoon fed. And there's like I'd like one of those guys to go home, like actually go home. Like
I
something
know.
that I don't expect, I think would be better. And as the contenders get stronger, I guess anyone that goes home will be a little unexpected, but
I guess the smaller the crop, it'll be early on in any show where people get eliminated. It's like, I don't know, like who really knows who's a competitor, who's here, who's not. So I guess we'll see later on. But in like American Idol, Survivor, there will be people that get voted off that you're like, whoa,
just stunning stuff.
Can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
But it's early on in the game still.
I hope that at some point there's some stuff that shocks you, but I'm not sure that you'll be entirely thrilled.
Yeah, thus far, I would say that's the biggest complaint, that it feels pretty cut and dry, pretty easy to predict, and it's fine, but I don't know.
I want my reality TV unpredictable.
I want it spicy. I just wish it was a little more unpredictable. But
and I guess the nature of the show
it is what it is
a little less conducive to that, perhaps.
Right, because you have to remember, like, I guess they're still trying to like fall in love, I guess. Like it's not Survivor where they're voted out by the other contestants and it can get kind of weird.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. So it's really not as conducive to like twists and turns like that, I guess.
She should marry whoever the fans vote for.
I agree. That'd be
right. Vote for Joe at 22917.
If you like Joe's performance tonight, text Joe.
Messaging and data rates do apply.
Yeah. I don't know. I hope it gets a little bit more unpredictable is all my biggest complaint so far too.
I can totally see that from your perspective. But yeah, overall, not too much of a crazy episode. I did find some great tweets though. I thought they were great.
Yeah, let's do that. And then are we buying?
We're buying and selling every week, folks.
Let's do it. Let's get to the text. I'll start from the top.
Got it.
Okay.
Sorry, I got carried away.
All right, we'll post them on there. Me looking at the last piece of cheesecake in the fridge. Oh, I'm sure all these are going to be Nate because he had so many side eyes, so many reaction shots.
Yeah, he's very expressive.
He is, yeah. And oh man, when Michelle was addressing the group, the expressions that Jamie was given to was so weird.
I know.
Oh, I've never even noticed that before. All I see when I look at Jamie, it's weird how when he becomes a villain, he's like, maybe he's not that attractive. It's like maybe
I never thought he was super attractive.
I didn't either.
From the jump.
I didn't either. But the internet seemed to.
So he kind of looks like to me one of those plants, the angry plants on Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What?
Where they're like, "Wee!" They like pull it out of them.
They scream whenever they pull them out of the pots.
Oh.
In whatever class that is.
Yeah.
You're the Harry Potter guy. I mean, I knew that.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go
Get
to
with
Nate.
it.
Nate did say "fuck the viewers." He did.
Yeah.
Say less.
Yeah.
Nate could say you're a piece of shit and I hate you, and everyone would be like, "Hell yeah, Nate!" Spit in my mouth. I'm a piece of shit. Yeah, Nate could do no wrong.
To describe to me, we forget that we're doing a podcast, so like we need to describe what we're looking at. It's what's her name, Sammy, right? No,
Yep.
I don't know.
Sammy.
That's Sammy, right, from Jersey Shore.
Yep.
Saying, funny how my legs are wide open all of a sudden after
Nate
said, "Fuck the viewers, Bachelor Nation."
He could do no wrong.
Accepting being fucked by Nate.
Say less.
Yeah.
Say less.
Go ahead.
Jamie saying Michelle is in spring break mode, but only one person has been kikiing, gossiping, and talking shit.
I don't know what that means.
Explain to what kikiing is.
I don't know if I know the exact definition of kikiing, but I just thought that it meant like being like that girl who's like doing all the shit.
I see. Okay. That's
stirring shit up.
Okay.
The meme itself, her embodiment of she's looking real confused in bed.
Yeah. More Jersey Shore. Love it.
I'm sorry. I accidentally screenshot 2 Jersey Shores.
That's fine. It's fine. It is what it is. Nate, fuck the viewers. Me, a viewer. I love this man. You can do no wrong. You can do no wrong.
Yeah, the dude's a golden god at this point. He'll have to really fuck this up if he wants to.
That is a really good point.
Good graces.
How through this that you could have picked Clayton and not him to be the Bachelor? If he doesn't win, I don't know what we're doing.
Bachelor in Paradise, here he comes.
That is
baby.
a very good point.
Yeah. He's got to win, or it be a really big upset to where he's too pissed at the franchise to not take the Bachelorette or Bachelor position. Although I heard that they're doing 2 Bachelors back to back, but I don't know if that's confirmed.
Whoa.
Maybe he will get selected.
Yeah, folks.
Who
Stay
knows?
tuned.
Who
Let's
knows?
do buy or sell. We're about at that time. We can do it.
Buy or sell. Okay, first off, a guy that was heavily featured in this episode, a guy that got a little more characterization. How are we feeling about Rodney right now?
I'm still in buy mode.
Buying.
Yeah, I think I'm buying. I'm buying Rod as well.
He's a hard buy, although the stock price is going up a little bit. Got the one-on-one date.
Yeah,
I'm still buying though.
He's hitting he's close to his peak.
We're close. Maybe one more episode. We'll talk about it. But
maybe 2 episodes. I don't know.
Maybe a sell high, maybe in 2.
Another guy that got featured very heavily in this episode that I think made himself look pretty good, but I think we're all 3 pretty skeptical of. Will. Where do we stand on Will? He won his rivalry with Peter.
He got the group date rose. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Will sticking around very long. There are some other people below him that I feel like I have not seen a single time on the show have any sort of significant.
The elimination was light tonight. Like, I was really shocked at how few eliminations there were. So I'm hoping next week it's just like mass chaos, tons of eliminations, and I think Will be one of them.
Oh,
You'll probably bring him up. Go ahead.
Next person I have, this guy's been lurking in the shadows. We've been talking about him every single week. And I just think he's going to have a moment soon. Leroy.
We know nothing.
We know nothing about Leroy. He's still around. But he's one of the first 2 or 3 roses every single week.
Tonight he was 3rd.
Number 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe, Rick, Leroy. Before Nate.
Not that I don't know that the order even means anything
Nate was
at
4th.
all.
I'm just saying.
I kind of feel like the order means something.
Yeah, fucking order.
I think I'm selling Leroy only because like we're 3 episodes in and I can't even put a face to your name.
Yeah,
I understand it. There's a reason I
haven't seen a single preview promo shot of him on like a date or anything like that. I think I'm selling too. I think it's finally time to sell on Leroy.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for it. If it didn't happen this episode, it's not going to happen, I don't think.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Here's one that I think we could differ on a little bit. Where do we feel like Rick stands right now?
I'm buying Rick for at least another week because I feel like he's a good advocate to the team, the group of guys.
I also think in the teaser trailer, I think he does get a solo date next episode. They showed him and her in the little, what do you call those little carts when you go up a mountain? You lift, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
They were together in one of those. So I think he gets a solo date next episode. So
Well,
for that reason, gotta buy.
Bye for now.
Another guy that I don't know what we'll say. Where do we stand on Brandon J at this point?
I don't want it, but we have to buy. No,
we have to buy.
He's coming off back-to-back group date roses.
Yeah,
we want them both.
Yeah, he's dominating. He really is.
Yeah,
I don't get it, but he is.
We're buying, but we're not liking the purchase.
We don't like our purchase. We have some buyer's remorse.
Yeah, here's a guy that
not liking it.
That showed a little something, had a little more personality and stuff. So how do we feel about Martin?
That's what I wanted to bring up. I think he could be Leroy-esque laying in the weeds. He was the one early on that pulled her aside and said, "Hey, I just want to make sure that you're doing okay. I know there was a lot of stuff going on," and she seemed to eat that up for whatever reason. She seemed to like that.
I personally think that I could see him being in like top 5.
I don't know about that, but it's fringy. Yeah, I hear where you're coming from.
Rank these 3 based on how far they go. Rick, Brandon J, Martin.
Ooh, go ahead.
First being who you think will make it the furthest. Third being, obviously.
I'm going to go the furthest is first.
Yeah. Number 1 is who do you think will make it the deepest in the show?
Third, Brandon J. 2, Rick. 1, Martin.
Wow.
I think Brandon J might go the farthest, just based on
we've only seen them peck. We've seen her get down.
Interesting. Maybe some little brother vibes going on here.
I think my ranking would be Martin, Rick, Brandon J.
Him last 2?
I think I would have Martin last. Oh, she had Martin first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would have Martin last, I think. I would have Martin going home the earliest.
And you think Brandon J?
I think Brandon J making it the furthest.
I would agree with that. And then Martin in the middle, and then Rick.
Really? So you're not as high on Rick?
No, I just don't think it's the spark. Don't think the spark's gonna be there.
I think we can say we don't even need to do simp of the week. It's just Rick.
It's Rick. I was gonna say
it's just Rick every
same
single
shit. Rick is the simp of the season.
Yeah. It's almost silly to even do it. Last person. How long do we think Clayton's going to last here?
Is it time?
We're getting to the point where he's going to go home, but I don't understand why he would be a bachelor.
I think right now we're down. Am I right to 14?
I don't know.
That's a pet peeve of mine during the rose ceremony. They don't make it very clear how many people are making it, how many people are going home, how many roses they've given out,
who's left. They should have a graphic.
They should have a little graphic of
like their faces and like he has a rose, he doesn't have a rose. There's
a TikTok account that does that. I need to find it and I'll send it to you guys because that would be super helpful.
Does it do it in like real time?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like
I want it like on the show. Like in real time, like who's
like while she's giving out roses, I would like to know
an updated ticker
who hasn't gotten one
because we're kind of left in the dark on that.
Yeah, it's a little confusing. It just kind of comes like, oh, this is the last one, I guess.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I know there's not like names on every single person, which bothers me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Miss. Any more buy or sells?
I don't think so. So the preview for next week, it looks like we've got more drama, and it looks like Chris S is stirring up some drama next week.
It looks like so far we've seen very little of Chris S. He's been pretty in the shadows.
Episode 1, I called out the guy fucking sucks though. I didn't think he sucked for this reason though.
Might get a little altercation with him and Nate.
No.
That could go poorly for Chris S. He was
Nate. You can hear me up there. I'm gonna bite your dick.
Yeah. I don't know if that'll go well for him. He's like, dude, you touching me right now, dude? So I don't know what they're getting into it about, but he said someone thinks they have this in the bag.
I know. I think that's probably Joe that they're talking about. Or Jay.
Or Nate.
We're
gonna get a little Nate heel turn.
Little Nate heel turn, like This shit's over.
We're
Jamie's
gonna get old
gone.
Nate heel turn next
I'll be
episode.
so pissed. I will be
Whoa.
so pissed.
We were kind of sniffing out that maybe he's
Maybe he's a
little
fuckboy.
little player, little fuckboy vibes. Maybe he.
Judge the book by its cover, and I hope that we're wrong.
Yeah. I'll say one thing. I'll be furious if 3 episodes in a row they just cancel the cocktail hour. At some point, just stop doing the cocktail hour. If we're going to cancel it every week, don't treat me like I'm stupid. I know it's going to get canceled. Like, I know Lucy's going to pull the football out from Charlie. I don't need to see it again. I know it's going to happen. Stop.
I agree.
Just don't have it or stop canceling it.
I agree. It's so annoying.
You know,
Dumb.
I hope you get your cocktail hour. I hope you get it.
Just don't treat me like I'm stupid.
Just
Cocktail.
enjoy it for the entire show. Anything else you want to add before we sign off until next week?
I don't think so. I hope next week's a little bit more exciting, but
Yeah.
overall, okay episode.
Not a very good episode, but I think we had a very good discussion.
Yeah, it was fun.
I agree.
We've aired out some stuff. We're not happy right now.
Yeah, folks, if you want a Bachelor Love Fest, this is not the show.
You came to the wrong place.
We're going to call it how we see it. We're going to
Agreed.
be straight with you. We're going to tell you the truth.
And episode 3 was a miss.
And if
Wasn't
ABC
that-
wants to call us and give us a bunch of money to say the shows are great, just
Or to
Sorry.
fix the show.
need some 3 writers, 3 producers.
Be happy to.
I would love to be a writer.
You'd be good at it, probably. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot of fun.
All right, if we got nothing else,
That would be a fun exercise. We should write a hypothetical episode of The Bachelorette. That would be funny.
Fanfic?
Ooh. That would be great.
that
Okay.
would be a lot of fun. If you're audio only, head over to the YouTube channel to watch us on YouTube. Like and subscribe over there. Do whatever you do on the audio side. We'll be back next week for episode 4, recapping it. And thanks for listening.
Bye.
See you next time.
Thanks, gentlemen.